Got diamonds in his chains and ice run through his veins. He's the king of the AFC, Jackpot Joey. Cincinnati royalty, small town loyalty, still connected to his roots, wearing hero boots. He's the king of the AFC, Jackpot Joey.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to the show. This is Sports with Strawberry Ice. I'm your host, the Iceman, Jeff Trunapole. And as always, I bring you sports from a West Side point of view right here in the great city of Cincinnati, Ohio. Home. What? What do you want? Well, it's not your time yet. What?
Bring me on. All right.
What?
So
Why?
try the Jackpot Joey beer.
I haven't got there
Bet
yet.
Fred Sports. Look at Bet Fred Sports. We're also sponsored here in the Ice Cave by T Properties. T Properties. Whatever else he says with that. But T Properties, Jackpot Joey beer, Bet Fred Sports. Let's bring on our guest, freaking the God.
I'll do that real quick. This is going to be a fun show. I'll just tell you that right now. Let's do it. What's up, Godfather?
You cut him off right when he was getting good. It's the good part. He was introducing me. I mean, come on.
Oh, my bad. I'll bring it back.
No, it's all good. It's all. How you doing, man?
Good. Hey, I got to bring Dale back on for he needs to say more stuff. What?
The man, the myth, the legend. Some can call him the Godfather. I just call him Dad. It is Anthony Cosenza.
Hey,
I love it.
Hey,
I love it.
DJ,
God,
think of it.
I don't get this. I don't get this reception anywhere. At home, at website, anywhere. My own show. I don't get any of this. I love it.
So, DJ Thickabus, is there somebody else you want to introduce that we have that's coming on the show?
Oh, is he here?
Yeah, he's here.
All right. He's U.S. Gambler to you. To me, he's Big Poppy. His name is Jason Deeds. Welcome, Jason Deeds!
I kind of like doing it this way. This makes my job a lot easier. What's going on, Jason?
What's up, guys? I just realized I need my own wall, the way you guys have your own wall. Here I am with just like doors in the background. And you don't even know where they lead. They could be anywhere.
It's
You
a
know, Narnia.
I don't have a beer wall like Iceman over
Oh
there.
my God.
So, yeah.
yes, and they're all empty. They're all empty. All right,
What's
guys.
up, guys? How's it going?
Good. Before the show goes off the rails here, I titled it The Odds, since we have the U.S. Gambler here, so we got to have some odds here. Odds on the Bengals going all in on the season, since we got every single coach back, and that's where are literally the only team that's going to have that, because KC's losing Eric Bieniemy to Washington, it sounds like. What do you think? Oh, sorry, UAC. What do you think of the odds of the Bengals going all in?
With me. The term all in is subjective to start with.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, I was can we get philosophical about what all in is? I mean, what is all in? There's a lot of different routes the Bengals could take this year, whether it's, if it's trading up for an elite player in the draft in one of the high rounds, whether it's, maybe making an outside signing in free agency that you don't expect him to because of all of the internal guys that they want to sign. So it just kind of depends on what you mean by all in. But, they're obviously positioned well based on what they've done the last couple of years, getting all the coaches back. And I would like to see them maybe make, a surprising move in free agency, someone where you go, oh, wow, that's a nice piece. I didn't kind of expect that, kind of play with house money a little bit. Now, what that might cost in terms of personnel to do that.
What I'm saying.
Yeah,
That's all in.
Do you sacrifice a T. Higgins contract extension? Do you sacrifice does Joe Mixon become a cap casualty to be able to get another piece, and then maybe you draft a replacement? I don't know, because of the cap hit and whatnot with Mixon that's sitting out there. So there are a lot of different avenues the Bengals could take this offseason. I would like to see them, whether it's getting kind of an exciting tight end or, someone on the interior to be able to rush the passer with a lot of consistency to rotate in and out of there. Those are two areas I'd really like to see them shore up, but they're in good shape regardless.
DJ Thickabus, what do you got?
Okay, so I'm a very responsible gambler. Like, I put very little money.
We're not Derek.
Yeah, Derek Orange Arrow, not a responsible gambler. So for me, I want to build something long term, but I also know how close we are to our Super Bowl window. So part of me wants to just jump in and say, yeah, let's do whatever we need to do. And a lot of that is you would be sacrificing a T. Higgins extension, whether it's this year or next year, if you're going to really push in and say, all right, let's go get a Mike McGlinchey at right tackle. Because that's what I think of when I think going all in. You're going to pay another guy to solidify a position in need. And beyond that, I don't know how many other positions. You're going to re-sign Jesse Bates then, almost going all in.
Maybe. All right,
to me, because I'm not gonna wait to see what Dax Hill is when I have a proven commodity.
All right, so Deets, what's the odds for the Bengals for the Super Bowl this year? Go ahead.
So if we're getting philosophical, I want to go back to what AC said about getting philosophical about this. I would say, what's the position of need, right? Because we went into the playoffs, the Bengals went into the playoffs without two of their starting linemen, right? And I think that three of them, three of them. And I think that the outcome could have been much different in that game against KC if they had all three of them. So they spent something like, don't quote me, but something around $40 million on the offensive line this year. Like, what would be taking that next step? And is it worth it to do that? Or are there other positions of need? I look at the defense and I'd say they need to shore up, whether it's getting Jesse Bates, whether it's Dax Hill or someone taking that next step, one of the rookies from this year or the younger players. But I think getting another piece in that secondary so you're not relying on Eli Apple and $80 left in my account on Bengals plus 900. I like that. So the Bengals are plus 900. They're the third lowest odds to win the Super Bowl next year behind the Chiefs and the Bills. So
wait. The underdog Chiefs are favored to win the Super Bowl again. I mean, my God, I thought they were underdogs if you listen to them.
Yeah, so you have the top three, the worst odds or the best odds, I guess, depending on how you want to see it. Chiefs plus 600, Bills plus 700, Bengals plus 900, and then you get into some NFC teams after that.
There you go.
But who else would you put your money on, honestly, for right now? Do you guys have a dark horse? Chargers? What's the Chargers? I'll just throw them out as a team.
I think the Chargers are too far away. I would say the Niners, if they get a quarterback.
That's who I was going to say. Yep.
But I feel like the Niners are right there, depending on Sportsbook. The Niners are right there in that mix of the top five.
Well, it depends. Like I said, they got to get a quarterback. You saw what happens when they lost one. I mean, they had I think I get a quarterback that can actually make it through a whole season. That would help.
Like I'm talking about outside the top five type odds because I put the Niners, the Eagles, the Chiefs, the Bengals, and the Bills. Yeah. This is my five.
I think Jacksonville is a really good team next year, and you have to remember that as long as he gets approved, Calvin Ridley's coming back to that team, they are going to be absolutely loaded on offense. And if Trevor Lawrence continues to make a jump, I think that's a good team. They need to shore up that defense a little bit, but I mean, they're going to have 4 unreal wide receivers. I think they're all under contract for next year. That's off the top of my head. And Evan
not Marvin Jones, I don't think.
No, Marvin Jones is up. You might.
He's also not young.
Yeah, he's not young. Well, speaking of Marvin, when he was a Bengal, this kind of I'm kind of stealing this from Locked On Bengals or excuse me, Locked On Bengals, or they said that they reminded us of like 2012. That was Andy Dalton or 2011, Andy Dalton and AJ Green's second year, where they basically signed all their own guys and they brought in Marvin Harrison. That's really the only guy that they really brought in, and that was in their opinion, not all in their Super Bowl window for that era. And that's kind of where I'm at here. We got the coaches back and everything. Joe's up, T's up. But they're not free agents after this year. And the only glaring hole for me that I think the Bengals really need to try to attack is right tackle, because LC is most likely not going to be ready by the time the season rolls around. And you have Keenan Adeniji there who, say what you want, did okay. You got Jax Carman who showed some stuff there. If you can go get or sign one, or you can draft. I always forget who's the kid's name from Tennessee, Dale.
I know, right? Yeah.
If he's there, if you could draft him, and maybe you have him and Adeniji fight it out until Lyle gets back or whatever. That's kind of where I'm at. Or they sign one. That's the thing to me is keeping your guys and improving the team. And to me, it's right tackle. I think. I don't know what you got, AC.
It's To me, it's just really funny how different the attitude has changed from about a year ago when we were talking about when the Bengals landed La'el Collins, right? I mean, I feel like we were all pretty damn ecstatic.
I was
when they
ecstatic.
got him, right? Because
Right.
it was like we were going to trade the house for him, right? We were going to do all this stuff. We got to get this guy. He's going to, then they cut him. Then they get him on a kind of a somewhat team-friendly deal, and you go, wow, this just worked out really, really well. And
You're
then,
like,
of course, on
hell
the
yeah,
field,
we all celebrated.
yeah, and then now we're a year later, we're like, we got to replace this guy, right? So it's just kind of weird how this full circle thing has kind of come about. But yeah, I mean, I think right tackle definitely is a spot you got to watch. There's some talk about people. I liked some of the stuff I saw from Cordell Volson last year, but if you're really talking at this point to kind of like, hey, we just really have to make improvements to what is already a solid roster all around.
Right.
That's an area you may want to look at. And really, to be honest, guys, when we're talking about Adeniji and whatnot, and the 3 missing guys from the playoff roster on the offensive line, it's almost like you got to just build the depth. And I've kind of said this in a weird way. You almost want to build like another offensive line that you can start behind the first offensive line that you have, because they've had so many, even when they stock the cabinet with starters, the guys get injured, and then you bring in these guys and you go, oh man, they're either developmental guys, they're not working out, whatever. And then it's kind of a disaster like we saw against Kansas City. So it's almost like, maybe all in is just really, really, really focusing on shoring up the depth. And instead of having developmental guys, projects, young guys that you got to bring along the way for 2 years, you got to have guys that can play right now and play in an emergency pinch, even if they're a fringe starter right now. What that looks like, I don't really know, but I
That's
think
what's so interesting about this offseason. It can go. There's so many different ways that they can go, because I think it all starts and ends with Jackpot. You got to get him signed. I think, and for some reason, I think it's going to happen before free agency and everything. That's just I don't know, feeling I got. I mean, where do you think the Joe Burrow contract's going to come in? Is it going to be before free agency? Go ahead, Dan.
Well, I just want to go back to the line first, because I will say I do think we get Joe done, but Collins wise, yes, we were all excited, AC, but what did Cowboys fans warn us about? The injuries.
Exactly what happened.
He didn't practice
Exactly
a
what
lot,
happened.
and that's what was happening. And now he has an ACL, which happened late in the year, so we don't know if he'll be able to start. So that's why my focus is more on like a right tackle than anywhere else on the line for the draft.
Right.
Because I just see it's like a glaring thing we're going to need to start the season at minimum. But with Joe, yes, I think that gets done. It's going to be a lot. So if you're going there on money wise and you think, oh, he's going to take a team friendly deal, there's ways to make a team friendly deal like Mahomes did, but you're still going to be paying a lot of money, and it's going to be paid.
You're probably looking at Mahomes' money is what Joe is going to ask for.
Yes. Yeah, and hopefully Mahomes' contract where you're kicking it down, you're spreading it out over the 5 years. Mahomes, if I'm right, signed a 5-year contract, and the bigger
you have to back
it later. Yeah, exactly. That's what I think they're going to do. I think they can do that with T as well. But it just, I mean, everybody on the NFL Network is like, oh, you should trade him for a number 1 pick, which, yes. I mean, if you trade T, you're getting a number 1 pick. I think hopefully a number 2 pick as well, which I don't want to trade T. I don't think we're going to.
I don't think you're getting a number in this market. You're not getting a number 1 pick for T.
Well, who got a number 1 pick for a wide receiver?
2 and a 4, something like that. What?
So we got a number 1 pick for a wide receiver last year.
Marquise Brown went for a 1 last year.
Yeah.
You should easily be able to get a 1 for T.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. You get a 1 for Marquise Brown, you're never getting a 1 for T. Or if you're not, I'm not trading him because it's not worth it. He's a legit number 1.
Listen, if the focus is offensive line, not to keep belaboring the point, but if the focus is offensive line, you probably have to address it through the draft, right? You probably need a plug and play starter that you believe can be a plug and play starter, because otherwise your options, like for people that can come in and make a difference, you're talking about like Taylor from the Jags or McGlinchey or whatever from the Niners. And I think Niners are going to re-sign him. He's going to be a key part of what they try to keep in the offseason. And if they don't, I think they're going to be expensive. I mean, they're going to be very, very pricey and very highly sought after. A lot of people need offensive line help this year.
And what's the difference between that? Sorry, Jeff, but what's the difference between that and a Jones or Darnell Wright, a right tackle? Because I'm just – and you know, Anthony, you can't zero in on one position for the draft, but it seems to match up so well for me this year. A right tackle.
Yeah, I mean, right tackle has to be prioritized, and it has to be whether somehow they think that Collins is going to be the answer. Again, with all the injuries and whatnot, he never really seemed to be fully healthy when he was here anyway, because he had the back stuff and all kinds of stuff throughout the year. So I liked that move when they made it. It's just hard as we sit here right now to foresee Collins as being the guy. I can see them going in the draft to kind of maybe save a little bit of the money to do some of these extensions instead of going out in free agency, that sort of thing. That would make more sense to me. Or if somehow there's a trade option that's out there, but they don't really like to trade their picks. Usually when they trade, they trade a player for a player type of thing. So, for me, I think offensive line has to be a priority there. And it's probably as a tackle, to be honest, that maybe has, I know I'm not a big guy that's like, hey, he can play a little bit here, play a little bit here. You kind of want like a dude that's like, this is your left tackle. Right. This is your right tackle. Yeah. But when you have questions about Jonah, health-wise, final year of the contract, up and down play at times, you probably want a tackle that you can say, well, he can be a right tackle right now, maybe a left tackle down the road, that sort of thing. And that's your long-term plan, and you can develop one that way. That would probably be right now the best route. I'm looking at some of the other positions that I mentioned, tight end, interior defensive line, that sort of thing, because I feel like those are some things that can really, at the end of the year there, you felt like maybe I like Hayden Hurst, but I think if you had another supplemental weapon with him, another guy that can stretch the field a little bit more than he could, I think that would be a big weapon. But also what the Bengals had in the interior in 2021, when they had BJ Hill and Larry Ogunjobi and DJ Reader and the two edge guys and Hendrickson and Hubbard, that formula worked out really, really well. And when Ogunjobi got hurt, when Ogunjobi left the Bengals, they were not able to replicate that the same way. They've got some guys on the roster right now they like, but finding another guy that I think that can be I know it's big shoes to fill, but a Geno Atkins-ish type of guy in the middle there. That
you're going to say Kalijah Kancey, aren't you? You're going to say Kalijah Kancey gives you a boner.
Well, I like that guy, but I like another certain guy on the West Coast out here that you can move around the defensive line too. But regardless, I think you got to find.
Oh, is that the guy I asked you if he was a deep tackle? I asked you like over a week ago.
You got to watch my show today. You got to watch my show from today.
Yeah, what have you been doing, DJ Thickamus? God, you've been up work since 11.
Did you mention me that I made you go back and rewatch him?
Yes.
No, you did.
I believe I did. I think I did.
So, all right, let me roll back again. We're talking offensive line, but I want to roll back again to the offensive line. Jackson Carman, with the whole everything you said, AC about Jonah and the two dislocated kneecaps, and he didn't get to the level we want him to. But what Jackson Carman showed us in the two playoff games, do you think they give him a chance to push Jonah as far as left tackle? Because I'm just saying, if Jackson can improve and can be your left tackle, you got him. He's bigger, faster, stronger, athletic, and you get one of these guys out from Ohio State or Tennessee, and those are your two left and right tackles. That's your road graders right there. That's more athletic and faster tackles than we have right now. I don't know. What's your thoughts on that?
You going
to AC. Yeah, you.
I've still got hopes out there for Deontay Smith. So I don't know what's happening there. I don't know if he's a guy they're ever going to truly develop there, but that's a guy I was hoping would start to come around here. Regardless, I really, really liked what I saw from Jackson Carman in that Buffalo game, but it wasn't the same after that. And we've seen the track record. So I don't know that there's enough there to say he's going to push Jonah Williams. He's going to move to right tackle and be the right tackle. Right now, if I'm the Bengals, if I'm Frank Pollock and I'm looking at Jackson Carman, I would have liked a couple of things you put on tape, especially late in the year. But I would say you still got to earn this, man. We got to still restock.
He's at least earned another year to find out. I think
he's a backup right now, though. To me, he's still showing backup caliber play consistently. There's the blips where you go, wow, there's a dominant handful of reps or whatnot. But for the most part, I mean, he's still young. He's very young, but he's still showing kind of backup reps to me on a more consistent basis than starter reps.
Yeah, you at least take him into camp though and see what you got. You know what I mean?
He's
active,
of course. He's active game day versus inactive this year is where I
think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not saying get rid of him. I'm just if the question is, did he show enough late in the year to potentially push Jonah with the injuries and all that stuff? For me, no. But who knows? Maybe another camp. Maybe there are other things where you could say, he'll show more. But for me, he's kind of the backup right now. You still bring him to camp, you give him a shot to earn a spot, but I don't know, not seeing it.
Go ahead, DJ Thickamus.
I'm raising my hand like a classroom. So I got a question for Jason Deeds, a.k.a. the U.S. Gambler. If you could put stock in one rookie from this season, from this past season of the Bengals, who would it be going forward? Just as a player in general, put stock in them, like bet on them.
Probably Juice Gang, man. Gotta go
Yes!
with the Juice Gang.
That was what I was hoping you
Yeah.
said that.
Yeah.
But I agree.
He's a hard hitting kid, man. Like he rocked people even in the playoffs a few times. I like Dax Hill as well. I invested in a Dax Hill jersey because I had the opportunity to sign jersey. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go. Plus, we've met his parents multiple times. They're awesome. Juice Mom and Juice Dad and whatever they got on their jerseys. I love it.
Pop Juice, Mama Juice,
Mama Juice. That's what it is. Mama Juice.
Uncle Juice. No, I just went Juice Gang, but I'm gonna get one for Uncle Juice.
That's probably who I'd go with.
All right, let's go to some questions here. You guys are blowing the chat up. I appreciate it here. Natty goes, do you take 2 tackles or a tackle and a guard?
Neither.
Huh?
Neither.
Is this draft related?
Draft. Yeah, I'm assuming draft. Yeah.
I mean, tackle and a guard then, because we need guard depth, and we need.
I would take a true tackle, maybe one that, like I said, can play both spots if you think. But then as much as I don't like the idea of being like, oh, you can play guard, you can play tackle, but with my idea of rebuilding a offensive line depth and guys that you think can step in and start right away, you probably want to get a guy that can play guard and tackle, whether it's on a developmental.
Horseshit! You literally.
I know. I contradicted myself. That's what I do. Have you watched my show? I contradict myself all the time.
Obviously, Dale hasn't. I mean, he never watches your show.
No,
He's
but
you didn't mention him.
So true tackle, and then a guy that can maybe play guard and tackle later in the draft. That's what I
No,
would say,
he
but,
wants a tackle and a guard. That's what he means. Because enough of this tackle to guard shit. Anthony, you know this. We do it too often, and it doesn't work out. Like
I know.
We gotta hit the offensive line.
Jack of all trades, master of none, right?
Exactly.
Yes.
But let me ask you guys this, because I got cut out for a second. Let me ask you guys this. Which school of thought are you guys from? Do you guys take the best player available, or do you go after your specific needs if you are the GM?
Well, you're
It's
picking
always a combination.
Yeah, I say picking at 28. If you have a guy slotted there that you want and he's not there, then you take the best player available or the next guy then you play the next guy available for me, because maybe the next guy you have listed there might be in the second round. So it kind of depends on where you're slotted at, I think.
Sure.
I thought last year it lined up well with Dax Hill. I wanted Karlaftis, but he went one pick ahead to KC. But I thought it lined up well that Dax Hill was, in my opinion, the highest rated guy on my board. My personal board don't mean shit. I understand. But that was the highest rate. So I'm like, he's best player available. And it so happened to be a position of need in the sense that we didn't have a long-term deal for Jesse Bates.
What's your thoughts?
I don't like reaching. I don't like reaching for something. So I understand. Like, to me, if you're going into the draft and I don't mean to slam the guy because he's a nice guy and he's an Ohio State guy. I don't want to slam, but when you go into the draft and you're so desperate for position and you pick a Billy Price in the middle of the first round type of situation because you need a center really bad, and you take the second or third best one of the class in the first round, that to me spells a disaster. So I would rather, even though it drives me nuts sometimes, where you're like, man, I want him to get a tight end, I want him to get this, whatever the position that seems to be the most needy. I would rather them go best player available, and I would rather them go, if it's going to be a need or best player, either way, I'd rather it go for just pick a premier position, whether it's a tackle, whether it's a pass rusher, whether it's something where you know that those are the positions that win you football games, as evidenced by the two teams that played in the Super Bowl this year. You got to get after the quarterback. You got to protect the quarterback. And if you're able to grab one of those guys, even though it's not an immediate pressing need, and you see someone out there that looks good, that would be my preference. I still would maybe go best player available and just not reach.
Ken here is asking who's the D tackle from USC that they brought in and who started a couple of games. You're the USC guy there.
It's Tuli.
AC.
Tuli.
He's talking about Jay Tufele though.
Oh, Tufele. Yeah. Jay Tufele. Yeah, I like that guy too. That was my guy. I don't know what their long-term plans are for him. I came in and played, 2-3 games pretty well, right? He would be another nice rotational guy, back-end depth piece type of guy, but I don't know that he's ever going to be a huge high-impact type of guy in the NFL. But if he's kind of a back-end roster guy you keep around, I'd like that. I thought he did pretty well. I don't know if you guys remember his starts. I think it was one against the Saints, right? Did pretty well there, and
he played a lot when DJ was out.
Yeah, it was with Reader was out. Yeah, made a couple of nice plays. I was impressed.
I thought he looked good when he was out, but he's not a guy that you keeps you from drafting an upgrade.
No.
Right.
Yeah. No.
All right. Now here's a question. It seems like I get this question every offseason. We're looking at QB. Are we stuck on Allen and Browning being our backup QBs? To me, Browning is, or not Browning, but Allen is fine. If Joe gets hurt, we're screwed. I don't know. Where do you guys? What do you guys think?
Yes. Because even if we take somebody 7th round, we're still stuck with
Yeah.
Burrow's too young to start drafting quarterbacks. He's too young. I don't look at it as you draft a backup. You try to sign a decent backup because, like you said, if Burrow goes down, the season's over. You know what I mean? You're not going to get to the playoffs, or maybe you sneak into the wild card depending on when the season it is. But you're not going anywhere if you don't have Burrow. He's the key to this offense.
Yeah,
I would take sorry, AC, before you go. I would take a Malik Cunningham or Max Duggan or somebody who has some running ability, scrambling ability, more that's just you're basically putting in there run a whole different offense if you're going to draft somebody in the later rounds.
What if they go sign Lamar Jackson and have him play running back? How about that?
Oh, God. Wow. That's come on all in right there.
To play his natural position.
That's all in.
That
is all in. Yeah, I think it's going to be Allen. I think that's just the guy they roll with. I think the coaches like him and he's comfortable in the system.
Burrow,
I think you're probably going to see Burrow likes him, and you're probably going to see a guy that they bring in that, whether it's like a Dolagala type of guy where you go, oh wow, big arm, or oh wow, there's something here because he shines against preseason third stringers. But it's gonna, I think it's gonna be the usual suspects in that regard at that position. It's just you got the guy, but you don't need to, really. I mean, and if for God forbid, we've seen it, if that guy goes down, it's not going to be good. So
right,
you better spend your time doing this than anything else.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so special teams here. So punter and kick returner. Are we? Well, I think we definitely got to get a kick returner because I just think that Taylor. Trent Taylor caught the ball, which is great.
Punt returner. We need a punt returner, not a kick returner.
Not kick returner. Sorry, punt. Yeah, he said kick, but we need a punt returner. Trent Taylor caught the ball, which is great, better than what we had last year. But we need somebody to be able to get the ball, push the ball up the field. I mean, is that a guy that you might roll into as your fourth wide receiver? That's another one we could go in the draft to get some speed out there. That could also be your punt returner. Good, Deets, what do you got? Jason.
Who was doing it at the end of this year? Was Trenton Irwin?
Trent Taylor was doing Taylor. Trent Taylor.
Oh, it was Taylor. It's Taylor. I think you have to. I think it's an area that's probably an underlooked area. I wouldn't say the Bengals are. I mean, they're not bad on special teams, but I think it's an area where, to be honest with you, and I know he gets a lot of love, but also Money Mac. I don't think he's safe. He shouldn't be safe this year. He missed a bunch of kicks. Point afters. Remember the point afters in the Pats game? He missed
Then shut up so we can clip it.
I'm just saying, you just said Money Mac should be on the chopping block?
Not on the chopping block. I just don't think he should be safe. He should feel the pressure that he has to perform next year, and you should have someone that you maybe are confident. Maybe you draft a kicker late, 7th round, 6th round that you like. or pick someone up off the street. That's true. Pac-Man was the last really. Yeah, it's good point. I don't know. I think special teams is an area where you can focus, right? Depending on if you re-sign everyone else or not. Yeah.
Godfather.
What was one of the things?
Hold on, we need a fucking punter. How the hell you gonna say Money Mac is on the fucking chopping block for the fucking
3-point afters in one game, Dale? 3-point afters in one game?
playoffs? Yeah, he missed shit in the playoffs.
Okay, but as we saw every game, and they
now we can upgrade Drew Chrisman. That motherfucker, like he kicks the ball like this high in the air, this high.
Hey, get out of here! Drew's the man.
This same time is the size of my penis.
He's my favorite punter in the league.
All right, go ahead, AC.
No, I just what do the Chiefs teach us? Speed. Right. So I think if you can get a guy that's got some speed back there, I cannot for the life of me figure out what's going on with Chris Evans in this team. I can't figure it out. I know there's injuries, but there's a lot of healthy scratches. There's a lot. There are moments where you go, dude, that's the guy. And then you kind of like, well, what happened?
Where'd he go?
I kind of felt, I kind of felt like, well, damn, if you're not going to use him as a wide receiver, as a pass catching running back or whatever, like, maybe that's the role, right? Maybe return kicks, but can't seem to find a niche. I would love to see them invest in a guy who's maybe wide receiver 4 that's just the field stretcher guy that can also go back, field a punt or two a game, and at least give a threat, even because of the speed, right? Keep teams honest in that regard. So, speed. Give me some speed at that position. That's for sure. Yep.
Well, I got like full PTSD on that low kick because I'm like no hang time on the kick from the Eagles kicker, which he's coming off an injury apparently. So I'm like, wow, that was Drew Chrisman. And then it's like, bam, they get it in the hand.
But I don't think I want to waste a pick on a punter. You can get them.
I'm taking Berger from Michigan State in the 7th round right now. I don't give a shit. If it's me, I'm doing it.
How about when's the last time a punter was actually drafted? Does anybody know offhand?
A lot, but do you want to really talk about? So first off, the guy we were going to draft last year at punter, the Ravens took
2 of them.
Yeah,
the
Stonehouse, right? Wasn't Stonehouse one of them? And then the guy who got in trouble from San Diego State,
Ariza's the one I wanted. Yeah, I wanted them to draft him. Oh, thank God.
God.
But I was told by a very reliable source, aka
you got sources,
Shane Graham, that we were higher on.
You're not supposed to reveal your sources.
Well, I'm not good at this. I just drink and have good time.
Come on, DJ Thickamus.
Shane wouldn't be mad, but that we were very high on the guy that the Ravens took. That's which it's not really revealing anything. He's a good punter.
Yeah. So I mean, they could. This year is going to be really interesting, and I give this to Bengals and Bourbon. He said that, and this is true. The last couple of years, what the Bengals have done in free agency dictates what they're going to do in the draft. Do you guys feel that's going to be the same way this year? AC, I'll let you go first. You go around the horn.
Well, I was looking up. It was Jordan Stout. Is that the name you were talking about? The Ravens punter? Is that the guy?
Yeah, Stout was the guy. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
he said Stonehouse.
Jeff,
I was like, it didn't sound right. It was Stout.
What? Jeff, what did you? I'm sorry. What did you ask?
I'm just saying.
You had me looking up punters for God's sake.
I didn't do it. Dale did it.
I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry.
DJ Thickamus did it. But I was saying, Matt Bengals Bourbon says this. He goes, the last couple of years, the way the Bengals have attacked free agency dictates how they do the draft. Do you, with as many free agents as the Bengals have themselves this year, guys they want to sign contracts to, do you think it's going to be the same way this year, that what they do in free agency or of the guys that they sign is going to dictate how they do the draft again? Or are they going to do more signing of free agents after the draft more than before this year?
We've heard Duke Tobin talk about this a lot, that the Bengals don't like to go into draft feeling like they have desperate areas of need, right? Whether what they view as desperate areas of need and what the fans view as desperate area of need sometimes doesn't align, but they don't like to feel like we absolutely have to take X position in the first round, in the second round, that sort of thing. Now, I think they felt that way the first couple of years under the rebuild with Zach Taylor, just like, man, we just need to restock these positions. But, as they've done more in free agency now, I think it's just going to still continue to kind of be mostly best player available and or players they just really, really – I mean, you talked about Cam Taylor-Britt earlier. They really like that kid. I mean, they moved up in the second round to go get him. So that was a guy that, they signed a couple of corners. They probably need another one. Did they need one maybe in the second round? Maybe, but they were like, dude, we love this kid. We're going to go get him. Right. So that's what I feel like they're going to re-sign. They're going to probably be more inwardly focused this year as opposed to the last couple of off seasons where they did the big splashy signings. They're going to need to be more inwardly focused to keep, your Von Bells, potentially Jesse Bates, all that kind of stuff. Maybe dabble, get kind of maybe some mid-tier guys to help out, fill out some depth, maybe be kind of a spot starter type of thing. And then they go into the draft and kind of say, we have a handful of positions we're probably going to address early, but we're not going to be tied to tackle in the first round per se. We're not going to be tied to tight end in the second round, that sort of thing. Like, we're going to kind of let the board fall and take what we think is the best player of a handful of players that we've identified in this range where we're picking. That's probably what they want to do, because they've kind of said that outwardly, that's what they like to do with the draft.
I think you can't go into the draft unless you're drafting in the top 15, 20 spots. You can't even go into the draft with a desperate position of need because you're not 100%. Sure outside of those top 20 players, you don't know whether you're going to be able to plug and play them or not.
Does that make the right tackle a desperate needed position here for the Bengals? I
don't think that they're locked into taking a tackle in the first round. I definitely don't. I think you can find value in the second, third.
Well, with the this is where I get worried about, because LC, I guess I don't think he's be ready by the time the season starts. That's where I'm kind of like, you got to have something that you could put there, So that's where I'm like, okay, if they don't want to go all in and hopefully get into the draft, do they go out and get somebody outside, and cut LC and take that money toward the new right tackle? What do you think there, DJ Thickamus?
Well, I just don't. I mean, and I'm not saying that you pigeonhole yourself into one position ever. You never should. Best play. I just try to. I don't know, man. I'm a big draft nerd, so I always predict how many guys go, how many tackles go, how many tackles will probably be there. It's like a prediction type game. It's like puzzle pieces for me. And also with the roster. So for me, the need meets the value meets best player available with DeJuan Jones and now I'm forgetting the guy from Tennessee's name.
From Ohio State?
No, DeJuan Jones. That's DeJuan Jones.
Oh God.
Talking about Cody Mock?
No, the right tackle from Tennessee, Darnell.
Darnell Wright. Yeah.
Darnell,
thank you.
You're welcome.
So, but those two right tackles, I feel like could match need with value with, all of that. Just because I sit and do this shit year round. NFL draft. I do it year round.
It's crazy.
And I try to piece it all together, and I have the Bengals needs and this and that, and okay, how's this going to work out? And I do a bazillion mock drafts, a bazillion fucking things, and to me, the right tackle is gonna have a chance. I'm just afraid that the damn Steelers are going to take my guy DeJuan Jones, number one. But then I'm going to be happy that we get Darnell Wright. I'm just saying.
So AC is the right tackle position right now with La'el Collins' injury, and Adeniji is really the only right tackle you had that you could semi-trust. Is the right tackle a position of need going into this offseason right now for the Bengals with the uncertainty of LC?
As things are currently constructed, I mean, yeah, you have to figure out something there, because your starter from last year is probably not going to be healthy at the beginning of the year, or maybe in training camp, best case scenario. So, yeah, I mean, you can get by with Adeniji, but I think we've seen the ceiling of Hakeem Adeniji, right? I mean, a decent backup, decent spot starter. I mean, I think God bless him, but I think we've seen the ceiling there, and it's not high caliber NFL starter at this point. So, I would say that they probably need to address that. Now, there are some,
I just wanted to say, Ray, you're right. I'll be back. Ray, you're right.
His
I'm
dog's
looking at the
barking.
list of tackles. I'm not really enthralled with a ton of names that I'm looking at necessarily. I think you guys mentioned a couple that sound interesting, but yeah. So in free agency that is. So yeah, I think as currently constructed, they probably need to figure something out there.
That's the one. That's one scary thing. Go ahead, Jason. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I see just to your point there. I think the most interesting right tackles are going to be expensive in free agency.
Right.
Are going to be pricey, and hard and tough to sign. That was going to be my only point.
Well, to me, that's where there's a chance that the two cut casualties could be Mixon and could be Lael, and you could take that. And I suck at math, but I heard on the radio that if you cut those two, it goes to like $16 million that you could put toward a right tackle in free agency or the draft or whatever, or other players. So that's where or they restructure Mixons either way, but that's where I kind of think that might legitimately happen because you don't know what happened. Oh, geez, I've lost everybody. Shoot me.
Hey, the way it should be, don't care.
There you go. Yeah, that's where it's going to be really interesting. Like, first of all, we got to get Joe's contract signed, and then I think the next thing is trying to figure out what T is, and then along with that, you got to figure out your right tackle position. It's a very it's a position of need just because of what happened with AC or LC. Yeah. It is.
Yeah. But I don't know. I think with the exception of the Chiefs game, I think Adeniji did a good enough job filling in. I was going to notice I said good enough. Like, he wasn't great. He wasn't phenomenal. Right. But if you have and I don't know anything really about LC's injury and like how long he should take to come back from that. But if you're looking at week 5 or 6 comeback for him, depending on what the schedule looks like the first 4 or 5 weeks, then maybe you try to get by with that. Maybe you think you can get by with that. Maybe you draft a tackle, but you draft them 2nd or 3rd round and you try to develop them this year. But really they take a backup role. I don't know. There's a few different options here. Obviously it's a position of need, right? You need to protect Burrow. That's the most important thing. But I think there's a few different ways you can do that. And it'll be really telling in a few weeks here, a little while when free agency gets started to see who goes where and what they try to do. Because I think AC is right. I think that this year they look internally. Right, exactly. and they say, okay, these are our guys. We did well this year with these guys. Let's try to bring back everyone we can.
Well, let's be honest. I mean, when the offensive line was fully healthy, Joe Burrow was one of the least sacked quarterbacks in the league. So, I mean, if LC can come back and he's fully healthy and Jones fully healthy, I'm pretty confident in the way the offensive line played when they were healthy, that our offense was rolling and Joe wasn't getting hit. So that you had that to fall back on. I'm just worried that Jonah had dislocated 2 of his kneecaps, which has got to be painful. Yeah. And that LC tore his ACL. I mean, the ACL, like I said, I just don't know if he's going to be back in time for the season start. But anyway, since we just got you on the show right now, let's talk some betting here. What in the world would you bet on right now? Because you got the NBA is going into the All-Star weekend. Football's over. I mean, are you betting XFL? I mean, is that what we're down to, or what we doing this weekend?
I haven't bet XFL yet. This is actually still a really exciting time for betting. If you ask me, you have a lot of different things going on. You have NBA, not this weekend, but you do have a few games tonight. Then you go into the All-Star break and they'll be back next week. You have NHL. They've already finished their All-Star break. So now you've got NHL every single night. You've got college basketball rolling most nights of the week. You've got baseball that's going to be starting up here in about a month. I think opening day for pretty much everyone is the 30th, 29th, 30th, around there of March. So we're about 6 weeks away from baseball. And then you've got March Madness. March Madness, the first 2 weeks of March Madness this year are in Columbus.
Oh, dude, I freaking love. I wish the Bearcats would be able to that on me, but I still love March Madness. The first 2 days are unbelievable, dude. I'll sit down here. I always take that week off. And I'll sit down here in the ice cave, and I have my big TV on and flip back and forth to all the different games and everything. And now that betting is legal in Ohio, it's gonna be a lot more fun. I can actually place bets on my phone. I don't have to drive all the way to Indiana to make those bets. So we're talking betting now. AC since you left for a little bit here. We got college basketball.
We're talking March Madness a little bit.
March Madness. Are you a college basketball fan at all? I'm throwing AC out in the deep end here. No, you're muted.
Not really, honestly. But I do last couple of years. Well, not with the COVID thing, but for a couple of years, I've done a little guys trip out to Vegas for the.
I want to do that
tip-off.
sometime.
For
Yes.
the tip off. Yeah. So I mean, they're big basketball guys. They love it, and they've been kind enough to let me tag along. So I go out there for a couple of days, and it's pretty fun because it's not only the basketball, but then it's also like St. Patty's Day and all kinds of stuff out there. So it's pretty wild. I never knew it was like a big. I mean, Vegas. Everything's a big thing in Vegas, I guess, but I never really realized it because it wasn't my jam. So I kind of get into it around this time of year, I guess, a little bit.
Wow, it's unreal in Vegas, AC. I was there last year for some of the pre-tournament games, like the pre-tournament tournaments,
The conference games or whatever.
Yeah, the conference games. Yeah. And it's fun. I mean, you can go to a 2 games, 3 games slate for like $50. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And and then you're just sitting there. You go to the casino next door, put on some bets, and then you go watch the game that you're just bet on at the casino. You go collect your money afterward, and you're off having a night. At the blackjack table.
Yeah, they all. I mean, a lot of those places have they all have like good sports book. A lot of them have high quality sports books where you can just chill and do that. Or it starts to get a little warmer that time of year, so maybe you can get a little sunshine, so you're not feeling like you're in a dungeon for 10 hours a day or whatever in a casino or whatever. So yeah.
So
it's
so do they have this is what I've always heard for they might have this for multiple sporting events, but for the NCAA basketball tournament, March Madness, you can go where they have a room just completely full of freaking TVs. They have all the game, and they bring
sports book.
Oh my god!
And some of them actually like where they have. Some of the hotels or casinos where they have like their live shows, their concerts or theater type of deals. Sometimes they just get that theater and they do TVs in their actual so it's on as like a stage, and they have the whole thing decked out, and then they do like food and drink and stuff. So it's pretty cool.
Strawberry, look up a place called Stadium Swim when you have a chance.
Stadium Swim.
Yeah.
Okay.
Stadium
Circa,
Swim is
right?
unreal. That's Circa, yeah. It's unreal.
Circa?
Unreal,
That's
yeah.
good. That's good stuff.
Full disclosure: last time I was in Vegas was 1986, and I couldn't do anything.
It's a little different. It's a little different.
A little different.
I was 11. We went to Circus. I got to watch the clowns. That's all I got to do. So that's what. But my plan is I'm saving money now. I'm planning to go to Vegas next year for Super Bowl and watch the Bengals win this thing. So that's my plan.
There you go. There you go.
So we'll see what happens.
I went last year and covered the draft out there.
I know you did. I was so jealous of you. That was awesome. Like but it was like in your hometown. You literally could. Well, you couldn't walk there because you're in California and nobody can walk anywhere because you have to drive.
45-minute flight though. Pretty solid.
That was cool. I wish I could have done that. Anyway, I appreciate you guys come on. AC, what do you got? I know you just got done doing a show. What else you got coming up this week, or what do you got on Cincy Jungle?
Throttling back a little bit. We were trying to do shows like 3-4 days a week or something, throttling back on that a little bit. So Orange and Black Insider, Cincy Jungle is the site, and appreciate you always. We got to get you guys on. We'll do like a fun draft roundtable or free agency roundtable.
Oh, dude, we're talking about doing a live draft thing. That's honestly.
What? One thing I was thinking about doing is getting a lot of the people like yourself, a lot of the creators, content creators and whatnot, do like some sort of trivia round, like Bengals trivia roundtable type of thing, and either play for charity or something. So yeah, it'd be fun to kind of get a bunch of people involved in that or something. So I don't know. I have to come up with that, but I'm like, dude, we talked to you and Dale and all you guys and gals.
DJ Thickabus. You got to get his name right. He totally changed his name.
DJ Thickabus. Wait, what the hell is with that? What is that name? I don't understand.
He's drunk. I don't know. he just comes up with weird shit. Oh, there he is. Oh, he's back. Like DJ Thickabus is back in the house. Oh, he's Bengals and Brews at 7. Oh yeah. Are you gonna talk?
I don't see him. He's not here. Where is he?
You guys see him?
Yeah, I don't see him.
No, I don't see him.
Oh, I see him.
Oh, here
you gotta add me to the stream, Ice Man.
I did. I hit it already. You're like doing this the whole time.
Yeah, like, are you gonna add me? I got Bengals and Brews at 7.
Yeah. Who you got on Bengals and Brews? Who's your guests?
Oh, I don't really have any.
It's gonna be you and DJ Thickabus.
Yeah, my personalities.
There you go.
All of them.
AC wants to have us on for Bengals trivia one night. Would you be down for that?
Of course, man. Anything the Godfather wants to do, I'm down for.
There you go.
What are we? There's vapors in front of the old screen there, dude.
Incense.
What do we
It's
got going?
incense.
He got his heater lit.
Oh, okay.
It's just cigarette. It ain't nothing exciting, man. Not right now.
All right.
Marissa, bring me the weed. Time for the other show.
At the 7 o'clock tonight.
Shit, we're still live?
Yeah, we're still live.
Oh. Well.
All right. Well, DJ, think of us. I'll see you at 7.
In 40 minutes, I'm going to be smoking some fucking.
Oh, God. Godfather, appreciate you, man. Let me know if you ever
Hey,
need
you guys
me to
are
get on
awesome.
there for you, brother.
Of course. I appreciate it. Well, I'll hit you up soon.
Sounds good. Who
Good
day?
chatting with you guys. Take care.
See ya.
Thanks, guys.
All right, Deet. So tell everybody where they can find you. What you got going with Betfred or anything else you want to promote here before I let you go. By the way, thanks for coming on. I'm glad you feel better because you were supposed to be on yesterday. You're like, well, I can come on, but you'll be able to hear me. So I'm glad you're.
Oh, you don't hear my voice. You don't see me turning mute, going coughing every 3 minutes, trying to make it through what I'm saying. No, thanks for having us on, Strawberry. Always fun. Nice to meet AC and talk with DJ Thickamus as well. If anyone's betting tonight in Ohio, I like Purdue -1. I think it's still -1. Kicks off or tips off here at 6:30. See, I'm still in football mode. I'm saying kicks off.
I know. Me too, dude.
I also like NHL road or road favorites. Bruins Devils parlayed together gives you +156. Always find picks and all the Ohio offers. theusgambler.com/Ohio. Obviously bet Betfred and I hope to come on again soon.
Hell yeah. Who you got in the dunk contest tomorrow night or Saturday night?
Oh God, I don't even ask me. I haven't even looked at that.
I just
Dude, the minute I don't pay attention to any of that anymore. Like the minute the NFL went flag football, I was like, I'm done. No more. This has gone too far.
I actually enjoyed the dodgeball a little bit more than the actual flag football game. Anyway, Deets, I appreciate you, man. We definitely have to do this again sometime.
Anytime, let me know, honey.
Who day?
Who day?
All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed that. And a little bit of anything and everything there. Had the Godfather, had Deets, US Gambler, had DJ Thickamus. We try to get all of it covered here, especially in the offseason. Well, we do have the Bearcat game last night. If you guys watched any of Bearcat basketball, and I kind of said this on Bearcat Ruckus, people are going off on is Miller the guy. My thought is you got to give him at least 4 years. You got to give him 4 years to establish culture and to get his own players in there. We can't keep changing coaches every 2 years. So I don't like how the Bearcats have lost games they should not lose. I don't like how they've gotten out-rebounded on the offensive glass. I don't like how their defense has collapsed. I don't like that this is a jump shooting team. We can't get anything inside. But there is really some really good players coming in the next 2 years. So you got to, from my opinion, you got to give Miller at least 2 more years to establish what he's got. There are some top 10 guys coming in to the program next couple years. Going into the Big 12, it's going to be a big jump. So trust me, it's unless we have a miracle and we win the American Athletic Conference Championship, we're not going to the tournament again, which would be 4 years in a row, which sucks. But that's where I'm at as far as UC goes. I got the Reds coming up here. So there's lots of stuff we can talk about. If you guys, I do 90% Bengals, but we could talk Bearcats. We could talk Reds. Some people are like, you want to talk Xavier? I'm like, not really. I'm not a Xavier fan. So I try not to walk it or try. I always say I try not to watch it. I do watch them. I just can't get into them. I tried. I just can't. Anyway, let's get to the Facebook groups that let me live stream. And as always, I appreciate every single one of them. They are Who Day Nation, Who Day Legion, Bearcat Ruckus, Radical Reds, the Ohio State Bucknuts, the Ice Bar. And then, as always, you can follow me on all my social media platforms, all under Sports with Strawberry Ice. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Twitter handle is at Jeff A. Trunapole. TikTok is at Iceman90. I'll be pulling the sound off on putting on the podcast here later on tonight. If you missed any of it and just want to listen to us for an hour, 55 minutes right now. And if you're watching right now, you guys are troopers. If you're sitting there watching the show still and while I'm going through this. But it's on BeanPod, Apple, iTunes, Spotify, Google, Stitcher Play, pretty much wherever you get your podcast. Please make sure you rate, like, and review. Leave a 5-star review. Leave a comment so more Cincinnati fans can find my podcast. YouTubers, my originals, you guys are awesome. 2,114. So tell your friends, tell your neighbors to subscribe to Sports with Strawberries. Let's try to get to 3,000 as fast as we can. Other than that, I'll see you guys tomorrow for a fun football. Oh, man, it won't be a fun football. It'll be just a fun Friday show. How about that? I'm so used to saying fun football Friday. It'll be a fun Friday show. Have some fun. Drink some beers. We're almost to the weekend. Ready? That's just sports, baby. See ya!
Orange in the day, black in the night. Stripes in our veins, sparks gonna fly. The beast is awake, orange, black and white. Cause when the jungle come alive, day we ignite in Cincinnati, we gon' rise in the jungle, we unite dripping orange and black and white. Day when we fight, live and die in these stripes. Wake up the beast, every day is a feast. Time to bust it off the leash. In the jungle, dripping heat. Tiger stripe the city streets. East side, stand up. West side, stand up. If you reppin', who that? Time to put your hands up. Bingo stripes, we in it. New day, new age, yeah, we get it. Cincinnati jungle fitted. Blue day in our house, we win it. Orange and black and white, we build it. Earn our stripes, you know we kill it. Bleed our colors, jungle dripping.